Doctor Who rumour mill has been on fire in the lead up to the 60th. Whispers of character returns like Susan Foreman and River's song, yes please, sign me up right now. People even photoshopping Matt Smith into on-set pictures, for crying out loud. It's been a crazy time, quite frankly, so we thought it would be fun to look back at some of the most weird and wonderful rumours that have gained traction over the years. I'm Ellie with Who Culture, here with the 10 wildest Doctor Who rumours ever. Number 10. Jason Statham is the Doctor. It was big news when David Tennant announced his departure from the role of the 10th Doctor. The many actors rumoured to succeed him when Stephen Moffat took over the show in 2010 included the likes of James Nesbitt, Chiwetel Ejiofor, and Jason Statham. Quoting an anonymous source, many outlets at the time reported that Doctor Who is still seen as a bit geeky, but Jason will add sex appeal and give the character a more dangerous edge. What? These reports suggested that the new series would be Doctor Who meets Gangland, which conjures up images of Sylvester McCoy being pumped full of lead in a San Francisco alleyway. There was clearly no truth in the rumour whatsoever. It was either someone selling a lie or someone in Stephen Moffat's production office having a bit of a laugh. After all, who looks at Moffat's dark sci-fi fairy tales and middle-class sitcoms about school newspapers and thinks, yep, this guy definitely understands the mean streets? I mean, the prospect of Jason Statham doing Venusian Aikido like a grizzled John Pertwee is certainly an enticing one, but it's best saved for our wildest dreams, eh? Number 9. Harriet Jones, Tyrannical Pepperpot. The return of Harriet Jones, former Prime Minister, in Series 4's The Stolen Earth was a delightful surprise, allowing the character to exit the Whoniverse on a high note after the Doctor had her deposed in the Christmas invasion. The Stolen Earth reveals that Harriet, with a little help from Mr. Copper, has developed the Subwave Network, a communication system that allows her to contact the Doctor's allies before reaching the man himself. Pretty straightforward Doctor Who stuff, to be honest, but a truly bonkers rumour claimed that none of this was going to be the case at all. Back in March 2008, The Sun ran an article titled PM is Doctor Who Dalek, stating that Harriet would become the daddy of all Daleks at some point in Series 4. It said, in a shock moment on the BBC One sci-fi hit, the casing of one of the metal monsters opens to reveal the ex-PM has been converted into a tyrannical pepperpot. A source said, it's a stunning highlight of the series. Penelope was smuggled onto the set to try to keep the storyline a secret. I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? This rumour then spread around various fan forums, with one user joking that showrunner Russell T Davies must have been snorting crack when he wrote it. I mean, I can see where he's coming from, let's be honest. Now watch, with RTD back at the helm once again, Harriet will somehow return as a Dalek in the upcoming series, just to prove us wrong. I mean, he's bringing Beep the Meep into live action, for God's sake. Anything is possible. Number 8. SLIPKNOT will record the Doctor Who theme. The Doctor Who title sequence is truly iconic. Even casual TV viewers and non-Doctor Who fans are familiar with that time vortex and that famous music. At this point, it's just part of the cultural consciousness. And as a result, it's always exciting when a brand new Doctor is about to debut because they'll usually bring a brand new title sequence with them too. This was the case back in the early 2000s and in the run-up to the 9th Doctor's much-anticipated revival series. There was a lot of discussion about what the new title sequence might look like and sound like. Out of this discussion spawned an odd rumour that heavy metal band SLIPKNOT was in talks to record that all-important theme tune. Apparently, the members of the band were big Doctor Who fans, and they even dedicated a song from their upcoming album, Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses, to the show. Ultimately, it was composer Murray Gold who arranged the theme tune, just like he did for the 10th, 11th, and 12th Doctors, and what a cracking job he did, we must say. We are big fans of Murray Gold here at Who Culture. Weirdly though, SLIPKNOT did make a creative contribution to Doctor Who around a decade after this rumour did the rounds, when the band's lead singer, Corey Taylor, provided the raw sound effect for the Fisher King in the 2015 episode Before the Flood. What a weird credit to have. I mean, maybe the person spreading the original rumour was from the future and they just got a bit muddled up. It's possible. Number 7. James Earl Jones as Omega in the 60th. To paraphrase the second Doctor, there are some corners of the universe which have bred the most insane things. Which brings us to the world of Doctor Who rumours on Reddit. Aside from the endless Evil Dan memes, trawling through the site can dredge up all sorts of weird and wonderful rumours about the future of Doctor Who. And one of the most intriguing of these is that Time Lord Society co-founder Omega will return in the 60th anniversary. Not only that though, but he'll also be voiced by Darth Vader himself, James Earl Jones. It's something that feels less like a rumour and more like a dream casting. Now, it's highly unlikely that Omega will return to the series, not least because the character recently appeared in unofficial spin-off media through Cutaway Comics and was also tied up in the development hell-dwelling K9 Timequake movie. His creators, Bob Baker and Dave Martin, are both no longer with us too, which could potentially complicate any negotiations over including the character. Now, while this rumour could technically still come true, would James Earl Jones really sign on as the voice of another big scary dude in a helmet? He only just retired as the voice of Darth Vader, for Christ's sake. Number 6. CYBER-KYLIE. Kylie Minogue appearing in Doctor Who was a watershed moment for the modern era. 2007's Voyage of the Damned is still the highest rated Doctor Who Christmas special of all time. It was watched by over 13 million viewers, many of whom were no doubt drawn to it by the superstar's casting. When Minogue's appearance was first leaked in the press, however, it suggested a much different character to the waitress with Dreams of the Stars. The News of the World broke the story in April 2007, saying that the pop princess would be playing a sexy cyber woman. This was almost certainly a case of crossed wires, as the article goes on to discuss Kylie's recent Showgirl tour, where her dancers wore costumes similar to the Cybermen. This was because her creative director Will Baker was a huge Doctor Who fan, probably a key factor that led to her eventual casting. Of course, Torchwood had notoriously portrayed a cyber woman in the Chris Chibnall-penned episode of the same name, which ends with John Barrowman dousing a scantily clad woman in barbecue sauce and feeding her to a pterodactyl. Bloody Torchwood. Number 5. Peter Capaldi as a one-shot Doctor. Peter Capaldi's casting as the Doctor was a big deal. The BBC dedicated a whole Sunday night show to the reveal. It was another of many exciting moments in a hugely exciting 50th anniversary year. Who could forget the screen lifting to reveal Capaldi, who was standing there with his hands on his lapels in an homage to William Hartnell? The Scotsman was one of those perfect castings that, prior to the announcement, felt like it would never ever happen. So it was easy to see how the rumours that he would only be doing one series started. The reasoning behind these rumours was dubious though. It was suggested that Capaldi was selected as a one-shot Doctor and, quote, in order to pave the way for an even more radical choice for the role. As such, it was easy to see that this whole thing was total rubbish. Capaldi was clearly very excited to play the Doctor and was such a passionate ambassador for the series. Why would he stick around for just 1 year? Like many Doctors before him, rumours of his departure were present for his entire tenure, with some suggesting that he would be replaced by Tilda Swinton as another one-series incarnation. Thankfully, he was the Doctor for a good few years, and his era continues to grow in appreciation. Number 4. Patrick Stewart to play the meddling monk. In many ways, it's strange that Patrick Stewart hasn't appeared in Doctor Who. After all, he's been in everything else. Star Trek, X-Men, Family Guy, American Dad. The tabloids clearly thought it was time for Stewart to add Doctor Who to his CV, and reported that he was to play the meddling monk in an upcoming episode. Now, this was back in 2008, around the time that he would likely be in rehearsals, if not on stage, as Claudius opposite David Tennant's Hamlet at the Royal Shakespeare Company. Easy to put 2 and 2 together and get 5. In those circumstances. Unless, of course, Stewart and Tennant plotted out a return for the meddling monk between the matinee and the evening performances, that is. The monk is, like the Rani, one of those B-list Time Lord villains that is often attached to big-name actors who've yet to appear in the show. Gillian Anderson, for example, has been rumoured to play the Rani several times over the years, and we're still waiting for that one to happen. Russell, come on now. Number 3. David Bowie kidnaps Agatha Christie. David Bowie was regularly linked to Doctor Who during the 1980s. He was considered for a role in The Caves of Androzani and was also apparently in consideration for the role of the DJ in Revelation of the Daleks. The director of both those stories, Graham Harper, was clearly a big fan. Fast forward to 2007 and Bowie was rumoured to appear in an upcoming 2-part story opposite David Tennant. He would play an alien menace that kidnaps Agatha Christie, explaining her mysterious disappearance in 1926. But Bowie spoke spokesperson denied that he was going to appear in Doctor Who. Now, interestingly, Doctor Who did do a story about Agatha Christie's disappearance in the form of Series 4's The Unicorn and the Wasp, a great episode, might I add. Now, it didn't feature David Bowie, but it was directed by Graham Harper. It's therefore not a huge leap in logic to suggest that Bowie's name came up in casting conversations for that episode. Peter Capaldi was another huge Bowie fan, and he voiced his desire to have the music legend guest star in a future episode. But Bowie sadly passed away in 2016, so there wasn't time for this to happen, though it would have been wonderful if it did, let's be honest. I'm picturing Labyrinth meets Doctor Who. Number 2. Guest star Ryan Gosling. Now, Doctor Who has a long history of celebrities appearing in cameos or supporting roles, from the aforementioned Kylie Minogue in Voyage of the Damned to Game of Thrones star Maisie Williams in Series 9. But if a recent rumour is to be believed, then the biggest might be yet to come. Following a lot of fan speculation stemming from both his and Ncuti Gatwa's roles in the Barbie movie, UK tabloid The Sun reported that Hollywood's own Ryan Gosling was being lined up for a guest appearance in Doctor Who. According to this report, it's unknown if he'll be a hero or a villain, but the writers will tailor a character for him to play. Assuming, of course, that he can find the time in his packed schedule of all the Barbie sequels that are probably gonna get made, let's be honest. Gosling actually has something of a history with Doctor Who. He cast Matt Smith in his feature directorial debut Lost River after being impressed by his Pandorica Open speech. This was the movie that Smith had to shave his head for, hence why he was bald in the time of the Doctor and all the wig stuff. After Ncuti Gatwa was cast as the new Doctor, Gosling was pictured on the set of Barbie wearing a fan-made Ncuti Gatwa Doctor Who t-shirt, and he's reportedly something of a Whovian himself. You really couldn't make this stuff up. Well, if you're the Sun you could, which is why we should all stay calm and take this with a massive pinch of salt for now. But hey, it's not completely out of the realm of possibility. Number 1. Britney Spears and the Sex-Mad Aliens. One of the key moments in Russell T Davies's Doctor Who revival was in the second episode, The End of the World. Wheeling out an iPod/jukebox filled with old hits to commemorate the destruction of the Earth, the Ninth Doctor bops along to Tainted Love, while Britney Spears' traditional ballad Toxic plays over a bravura sequence as the Doctor and Jabe attempt to save Rose from the sabotage sun visors. It felt modern, exciting, and encapsulates what made RTD's Doctor Who so brilliant. Now, during David Tennant's era, tabloids reported that Britney Spears herself would appear in the series as an entire race of lusty, sex-mad alien clones, which, despite clearly being utter nonsense designed to sell papers, also sounds like an episode of Torchwood. Despite appearing in guest roles across several TV shows over the years, Britney Spears has not yet starred in Doctor Who as a race of sex-mad aliens, or anything else for that matter. Perhaps there were some cross wires at the time with the fact that another pop megastar, Kylie Minogue, was lined up for the Voyage of the Damned, but I guess we'll never know for sure. And that's everything for this list, but let's be honest, it's not just the tabloids that can come up with some wacky ideas about the show, so why not check out 10 crazy Doctor Who fan theories people actually believed. In the meantime, I've been Ellie with Who Culture, and in the words of River Song herself, goodbye, sweeties.